Hello dear students, as you know we are doing chapter number 10, Wave Optics. If you have not seen the previous lectures, you must go and see previous lectures because those lectures concept we are going to use today. Today the first topic we are going to take is phase. What is phase? Basically, you have studied this topic in class 11. In 11th, you have studied about a wave. That a wave is mathematically represented by y is equal to capital A sine omega t minus kx. Here that y is displacement of the particle at time t, a is amplitude, omega is angular frequency, t is time, k is called angular wave number, and x is called, x is what? X is, like, suppose if this is the wave which we are studying, okay, k is wave number. If this is the wave, k is angular wave number, sorry. So this is the wave which we are studying. So here, if this particle we are studying, this particle is at a distance x from the origin. So basically x tells that which particle we are studying. So what is phase in this? Phase is this one, omega t minus kx. Is it clear? So phase describes the position. Phase describes the position and direction of motion of a particle. Phase describes position or direction of motion of a particle when wave travels from it. Is it clear? So in this y is equal to a sine omega t minus kx, this omega t minus kx is our phase. Phi is equal to omega t minus kx. This is your phase. If an equation is written like y is equal to capital A cos omega t minus kx minus phi naught, then what is phase? So in this case, the phase is given by omega t minus kx minus phi naught. In simple words, whatever written with sine or cos in front of it, whatever written sine or cos, whatever written in front of sine or cos in the bracket, that is the phase of the particle. That is the phase of the particle. Is it clear? So, if for example, if I ask you, okay, there is a wave which is represented by y is equal to a sine kx minus omega t. What is the phase? The phase is going to be kx minus omega t. Is it clear? Okay. So this is the phase. Phase of this one. Phase of this one is written over here. Phase of this one is written over here. Is it clear? So I hope the phase is clear. Whatever written in front of sine or cos, it is the phase. And phase is what? Phase describes the position and the direction of motion of the particle. Next thing we want to study is phase difference. Phase difference. What is phase difference? I have a wave y1 is equal to capital A or small a sine omega t minus kx. Another wave y2 is equal to a sine omega t minus kx plus phi. Phi naught or phi. So if I write phase of this one, so we are going to have phi1 is equal to omega t minus kx. If I write phase of second wave, so phi2 is equal to omega t minus kx plus phi naught. Is it clear? So what is the difference of the phase? So delta phi is equal to phi2 minus phi1, and we are going to have phi naught because omega t minus kx will be cancelled out. So what we are going to have, delta phi is equal to phi naught. So this phi naught is called phase difference. This phi naught is called phase difference. So basically the difference in the phase of difference in phase of the particles when the wave travels through it It is called phase difference. So delta phi is equal to for phi naught from here. For comparing phase, you have to notice down something, that this function should be same. If this is sine, so this should also be sine, and the sine of omega t should also be same. Here it is positive, here it also be positive. If suppose the second wave would have been given like yt is equal to a sine kx minus omega t plus pi naught. So first of all, we need to convert this kx minus omega t in omega t minus kx. And how will we be able to? We can write this same thing as y is equal to a sine with a minus sign. We can write omega t minus kx plus pi naught or minus pi naught. Is it clear? Now this sine minus theta. How does sine minus theta? This minus can be written as one. So y2 is equal to minus a sine omega t minus kx minus pi naught. Now sine minus theta we have to make it, so we will write a sine pi minus pi plus omega t minus kx minus phi naught. See, sine pi plus theta is equal to minus sine theta. Now this trigonometric function, sine is same, and the omega t sine is also same. Is it clear? So we have to we have to consider, we have to take care of this thing, that the trigonometric function sine should be same and the sine of omega t should also be same. Is it clear? In this manner only we can compare the phase. If suppose it is cos, we have to make it sine. With taking care of one thing, that sine of omega t should not change. Is it clear? So this is what the phase difference is. Okay. Now let us move ahead. The next thing we have to study is path difference. What is path difference? Okay. Now let me give you an example. First of all, tell me this thing, that if a wave is like this, it is a 0 degree. Suppose this is wave represents sine. This is your pi by 2. This is your pi. This will be 3 pi by 2. This will be your 2 pi. Okay. So if in terms of angle we see, so from here till here it is angle is 2 pi. But in terms of distance if we see, then this very distance is called wavelength. So when a wave travels a complete wave, one crest, one trough, passes through a point, the phase of the point changes by 2 pi. Listen to this line very carefully. When a crust and a trough passes through a point, then particle will go upward, then it go downward, then it comes to its mean position. So for a one complete wave, for one crust and one trough, when it passes through a point, the phase of the particle changes by 2 pi. And in that very time, the wave travels a distance lambda, which is called wavelength. Is it clear? So for 2 pi of phase, wave travels a path of lambda. For 2 pi, wave travels a path of 2 lambda. Lambda travels by a wave, lambda is traveled by a wave, when a change in phase by, let me write it in reverse. For 2 pi change in phase, the wave travels by lambda. So for unit change in phase, wave travels by lambda upon 2 pi. So for phi change in phase, for a phase difference of phi, the wave travels lambda upon 2 pi into phi. So this is what we call path difference. Okay, for 2 pi change in phase, wave travels how much? Lambda. If this particle has to go upward then downward, first of all this trough will go, so this will go downward, then it will go upward. When we complete one vibration, then wave travels from here to here. So when phase changes by 2 pi, wave travels by lambda. So for 2 pi change in phase, wave have to be travel what? Lambda. For unit change in phase, lambda upon 2 pi. For phi change in phase, lambda upon 2 pi into phi. So this is what we call path difference. Okay. For path difference, let me make another diagram so that you can understand. Suppose we have here two sources, source S1 and source S2, and we have a screen over here. Source S1, from source S1 and from source S2, waves are traveling to reach this particular point P. Okay? Now, from here the wave travels like this. It travels the point P. From here the wave travels like this. It goes to the point P. Now, this wave, suppose this S1P and S2P, if we compare, then the second wave travels a longer distance than S1. The wave travels from S1. So when we draw a perpendicular over here, suppose this is your perpendicular A, so this wave travels this much distance extra, this much path extra. So this S2A is called path difference. This S2A is called path difference. Now just try to understand. From here till here it is pi. From here till here it is pi. Then from here till here it is 2 pi. 2 pi means complete wave now it is 2 pi. Then again 1 pi. 2 pi plus pi it is 3 pi. So this phi is equal to how much? 3 pi. Phase difference which is there, it is equal to what? 3 pi. So this is the phase difference. So what is the path difference corresponding to it? Lambda upon 2 pi into phi. If we put the values, we are going to have lambda upon 2 pi multiplied by 3 pi. Pi and pi will be cancelled out. P will be 3 lambda by 2. So this is the path difference and this is the phase difference. Is it clear? This is the phase difference and this is the path difference. Okay. Now this path difference can be calculated from the figure only. This one complete it is lambda and this is your lambda by 2. Lambda plus lambda by 2, 3 lambda by 2. So it can be calculated. It can be calculated with the help of figure only. But if the phase difference is given, then also we can calculate with this formula. Is it clear? So this is what phase difference and path difference are. Now let us move to our main topic. And that very topic is interference of light. Interference of light. All the things which have to be noted down, it is given in the description link. Okay, make notes from there only. Now let us move. Next topic is interference of light. Interference of light. What is interference of light? Whatever it is, but there are some conditions. Let me write the conditions first of all. It is actually the superposition of two waves. So what are the conditions in which we have to consider that superposition? First of all, the frequency should be same. Frequency should be same of the two waves which are superposing each other. Second is the phase difference should remain constant or zero. Phase difference should remain constant or it should be equal to 0, and it is with respect to time, not distance. Okay? And the third one is travel in same direction. So there are three conditions. Frequency should be same, phase difference should be 0 or constant, and the last one is travel in, both the waves should travel in same direction. If such two waves which have these properties, if they superpose each other, let me say it in a whole sentence. If two light waves of same frequency having phase difference 0 or constant, traveling in same direction, superpose each other, then the intensity of light gets redistributed. The intensity of light gets redistributed, and becomes maximum at some point and minimum at others. Maximum at some points and minimum at some points. This very redistribution of intensity, this phenomena is called interference of light. Let me repeat again and write it also. So what we say that if two waves of same frequency having phase difference 0 or constant, traveling in same direction, superpose each other. In this very line, the whole of the conditions have been told. If two waves of same frequency having phase difference 0 or constant, traveling in same direction. Is it clear? These are the conditions. If these conditions are not followed, interference will not be happening. Is it clear? Traveling in same direction, superpose each other, then the intensity of light gets redistributed and becomes maximum at some point and at some points and minimum at some other points. Full stop. This phenomena is called interference of light. Is it clear? If two waves of same frequency having phase difference 0 or constant, traveling in same direction, superpose each other, then the intensity of light gets redistributed and becomes maximum at some points and minimum at some other points. This phenomena is called interference of light. Is it clear? So this is what the interference is. And for demonstration of interference, we have an experiment in our syllabus, and this experiment is Young's double slit experiment. Young's double slit experiment. Okay, this is the experiment to demonstrate interference of light. How it is? Let us see. In Young's double slit experiment, what is done? There is a source of light, and this source should be monochromatic. From source of light, what happens? The spherical wavefronts are there. Point source is there, therefore spherical wavefronts are there. So what we do? We put a slit over here. Okay, we put a slit over here. This slit has a narrow hole. Okay, it has a narrow hole, and from this narrow hole becomes a new source of light. So from here, the wavefronts are generated, which are in a spherical shape. So this is going to be like this. Okay. Now what happens? In front of this slit, we put another slit which has two holes. We put another slit which has two holes, and these slits are symmetric, means distance from here to here and here to here, it should be same. It should not be like the distance is greater than this one. The distance should be same. It is put in symmetry. This hole is these holes are very narrow, to 1 mm to 1.5 mm the diameter of these holes, and the distance between these holes are 3 mm. 3 mm, 2 mm like this. Now what happens? This light, when it strikes over here, again wavefronts are generated. It is in this way. The dark line represents crust and the dotted line represents trough. Is it clear? The dark line represents crust and the dotted line represents trough. Okay? For the second source, here is the source. This source is S1. This very source is S2. Okay? For the second source, let me draw again. For the second source, this is your crust, this is your trough, this is your crust, this is your trough, this is your crust, this is your trough, this is your crust, this is your trough. So many lines are made. Okay. Is it clear? Now what we do, we put a screen in front of it. This distance is about 2 meter, 1 meter, etc. This distance is very small, this distance is very large. Now what happens? Let me show here. Now what happens? Just see. When two waves superpose each other in such a manner, their crust and trough, crust are superposing, trough are superposing, then this displacement is added according to the principle of superposition. The resultant wave will be like this, as we have discussed in the last lecture. But what happens when two waves are meeting each other in opposite phase? One wave is here, one wave is here. So whenever a crust and trough are meeting and a trough or crust is meeting, then what happens? These displacement and the resultant wave is like this. Means there is no amplitude. So here also happens the same thing. Just see, just between S1 and S2, somewhere here, if you are able to see, we are having a meeting point over here, trough of the first one and trough of the second one. Here, here, here. So if we make this meeting point in front of the screen, here we have a bright light. Is it clear? The trough are meeting, crust are meeting, trough are meeting, crust are meeting. So we have bright light. But just below that, just see over here, one trough and one crust. One trough, one crust. One trough, one crust. So what we are going to have here? Here we are going to have a dark light. Is it clear? In the same manner, just below it, here just see, one crust, another crust, trough, crust. So what we are going to have now? We are going to have bright light. Whenever a crust is meeting, trough is meeting, so it is going to be bright. And now here, just below it, if you are able to see, just below it, so here you can see a dotted line and a dark line. Here a dotted line and a dark line. If you make this, we are going to have dark. In the same manner, above also. Okay, just above it, if you see this point, they are meeting in opposite phases. So we are going to have a dark light. And just above it, crust, trough, crust. So what we are going to have? A bright light. Above it, what we are going to have? Just see here. They are meeting in opposite phases. So what we are going to have? A dark light. what you are able to see, at the center we have a bright light, then it is surrounded by dark, then again we have bright, then again we have dark. This happens downward also. So in the screen, if you look at the screen from the front, so what we are going to have, we are going to have this pattern. At the center it is bright. At the center, this light is bright, and just by the center, just besides the center, we have dark fringe. So this is your dark, this is your dark, and between the dark there is a bright. This is your center bright, and the dark, this one dark. Then again one bright is there. Then again one dark is there. Is it clear? This side also happens the same. This is a bright, and this is a dark. The alternate pattern we are going to have: center bright, then dark, then bright, then dark. So this is called interference pattern. Interference pattern. Is it clear? Center bright is surrounded by dark, then bright, then dark. It happens like this. Okay, so this is called interference pattern. This bright pattern is called bright fringe, and this dark pattern is called dark fringe. This bright is also called constructive interference. Constructive interference. And this dark fringe is called destructive interference. Okay, this bright fringe is called constructive interference, and this dark fringe is called destructive interference. Till here I put is clear. Now we are going to do mathematical treatment of interference. Okay, now we are going to do analytical treatment. Analytical treatment. Now suppose the first wave is y1 is equal to a1 sin omega t, and y2 is equal to a2 sin omega t plus phi. This is wave, but actually I am taking the equation of displacement only. And why is it so? Because as you see in the previous diagram, if this is source S1, this is source S2. So for a particular point on the screen we are going to study. So this point is fixed. This distance from here to here is fixed. Okay, so kx part is not there. Okay, kx part is not there, only the frequency part is there. Because this particle will only do the SHM. So we have taken the equation of SHM. When the wave travels from there, so this particle will do SHM. So we have taken the equation of SHM only. Okay. So now, according to principle of superposition, when these two waves are added, we are going to have y1 plus y2. So y is going to be a1 sin omega t, and y2 is a2 sin omega t plus phi. Now just see, if we expand this one, a1 sin omega t, with the formula sin a plus b, so we are going to have a2 sin omega t cos phi plus a2 sin phi cos omega t. How we have done this? So we have used a formula that sin a plus b is equal to sin a cos b plus cos a sin b. We have used this formula to expand this one. Now just see, sin omega t and sin omega t we can take common. So y is equal to sin omega t common. We have a1 plus a2 cos phi plus a2 sin phi cos omega t. Let this be your equation number 1, let this be your equation number 2, let this be your equation number 3. Now to solve this, we are going to suppose something, and that something is A1 plus A2 cos phi is equal to capital A cos theta, and A2 sin phi is equal to capital A sin theta. Okay, this we are supposing to solve this to make the equation of resultant displacement. And if we put this, what we are going to have, then y is equal to sin omega t. In the place of this, we can write A cos theta. It will be A sin omega t cos theta plus A2 sin phi. We can put A sin theta. It is A sin theta cos omega t. If we take A common, so what we are going to have, sin omega t cos theta, sin theta cos omega t, the same formula. So we can write y is equal to capital A sin omega t plus theta. So this is the equation of resultant displacement or resultant wave. So y is equal to A sin omega t plus theta. This is the equation of resultant wave. Is it clear? Clearly, this A is the amplitude of resultant wave, and theta tells us that the resultant wave having a phase difference theta with the first wave, and the resultant wave is leading by the angle theta. Okay, see the phase of first wave, it is omega t. It is omega t plus theta. So this wave is leading in phase theta with the first wave. Now for A we have to solve. So from 4 and 5, just say A cos theta whole square plus A sin theta whole square. What I am doing? I am doing the square and then I am adding the equations. We are going to have A1 plus A2 cos phi whole square plus A2 sin phi whole square. This A square, if we take common to cos square theta plus sin square theta, which will become 1. So we are going to have A square is equal to, we'll expand it with the formula of whole square, A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. So we are going to have A1 square plus A2 square cos square phi plus 2A1 A2 cos phi plus, if we square this one, A2 square sin square phi. Now this A2 square cos square phi, A2 square sin square phi. If we take A2 square common to cos square phi plus sin square phi will become 1. We are going to have A square is equal to A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. Let this be question number 7. And if you have to get the value of A, it will be under root A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos phi. Okay, this is the value of resultant amplitude of the particle, and this very amplitude will describe the value of intensity. Why is it so? Because you have to pause the screen and note it down. Either you can note down from the notes which I have provided in the description link. Okay, so intensity of wave, that is your I, it is directly proportional to the amplitude square. From here we can write intensity is equal to Ka square. For the first wave, similarly we have I1 is equal to Ka1 square and I2 is equal to Ka2 square. So what we are going to have? We are going to multiply equation 7 with K. So what we are going to have? Ka square is equal to Ka1 square, Ka2 square, and see one thing I am doing here. If you are able to understand, under root Ka1 into under root Ka2 cos phi. The C equation is here. So under root K will be K only. 2A1 A2 cos phi. The same equation. K square can be written as intensity of resultant wave. This is the intensity of first wave, intensity of second wave. This very thing, if you take a square root of this, so under root I1 will be equal to under root K A1. A1 will be out of under root. So we are going to have 2 under root I1 under root I2 cos phi. So this is the equation of resultant wave. This is the equation of intensity of resultant wave. Now this intensity gets redistributed in interference. So we have two conditions. One, when the intensity is maximum, and other, when the intensity is minimum. When the intensity is maximum, what we have? We have constructive interference in that case. Constructive interference. So for constructive interference, this I should be what? Maximum. This I should be maximum. And I is equal to I1 plus I2, 2 under root I1 into cos phi. So for I to be maximum, cos phi also should be maximum. So cos phi should be what? Max. And the maximum value of cos phi is what? Plus 1. When the value of cos phi is plus 1, when the phi is equal to 0 degree, 2 pi, 4 pi, so on. Or we can write phi is equal to 2n pi, where n starts from 0, 1, 2, so on. So this is the condition for constructive interference. The value of phi should be 2n pi. Is it clear? Now corresponding path difference will be corresponding path difference. P is equal to formula we have studied, lambda upon 2 pi into phi. If we put the value in the formula, what we are going to have? We are going to have P is equal to lambda upon 2 pi multiplied by 2n pi. 2 pi will be cancelled out. P is going to be n lambda, where n starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So whenever P is an integral multiple of lambda, it should be 0 lambda, 0, 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 4 lambda. Constructive interference will be there, means maximum will be found. In terms of phase, whenever phase difference is an integral multiple of 2 pi, then the interference will be constructive. So these are the conditions for constructive interference or maximum intensity. In the same manner, we have destructive interference. And what is that? For that, I is to be minimum. For I has to be minimum, cos phi also should be minimum. And the minimum value of cos phi is minus 1. When the value of cos phi is minus 1, when the phi is equal to pi, 3 pi, 5 pi, so on. Now phi can be written as 2n minus 1 into pi, where n starts from 1, 2, 3, so on. You can write 2n plus 1 also, but in that case you have to start n from 0. Is it clear? So phi is equal to 2n minus 1 pi. This is the condition for destructive interference. And in terms of path difference, the corresponding path difference P is equal to lambda upon 2 pi into phi, implies that lambda upon 2 pi, P is equal to obviously 2n minus 1 into pi and pi will be cancelled out. So P will be equal to what? 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. So this is the condition for destructive interference, means minimum intensity in terms of path difference. Here the n starts from 1, 2, 3. So if you put n is equal to 1, we are going to have 1 by 2 lambda, means lambda by 2. If you put n is equal to 2, we are going to have 3 by 2 lambda. Okay, or 3 lambda by 2. So what we say? We say that whenever the phase difference is an odd integral multiple of pi, odd integral multiple 1, 3, 5 like this. Then the destructive interference is formed. And in terms of path, we say whenever the path difference is multiple of lambda by 2, integral multiple of lambda by 2, 1 lambda by 2, 2 lambda by odd integral multiple of lambda by 2, then we have destructive interference. So these are the conditions. Sometimes this question is asked to derive conditions for maximum interference or minimum intensity destructive interference in 5 marks also. Okay, so you have to understand the derivation. If you're not able to understand, see the notes. Then also if you're not able to understand, let me know. We'll discuss it again in the next lecture. Okay, so this is all for today. Hope you are doing good. Hope you are safe. In the next lecture will be uploaded very soon. See the lecture carefully. Make the notes. This is all for the day. Thank you.